For as long as humans have gazed at the night sky, the moon has been a symbol of mystery and wonder. But what if it became something much more? Something that isn't just admired from afar, but experienced up close. In the past few decades, humanity has gone from taking its first steps on the lunar surface to planning permanent colonies on worlds beyond our own. And it begs an incredible question: could we take it a step further? Could the moon become home to the most ambitious entertainment destination in history, a massive space theme park? In this video, we're diving headfirst into this bold idea. We'll explore the cutting-edge science and engineering that could make it possible, tackle the steep economic obstacles, and imagine the jaw-dropping attractions that might one day redefine the meaning of out of this world. So, what would it truly take to turn this daring dream into a reality? Let's find out. In 1969, millions of people around the world held their breath as Neil Armstrong took that historic first step onto the lunar surface. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind, wasn't just a declaration of the moment, it was a promise of what humanity could achieve when imagination and technology worked hand in hand. The Apollo missions weren't just about planting flags or collecting moon rocks. They were about proving that humanity could reach beyond Earth's bounds and pave the way for a future among the stars. Fast forward to today, and the strides we've made in space exploration are nothing short of remarkable. Back in the Apollo era, sending humans to the moon required immense resources, custom-built rockets, and a one-way trip only to end with spacecraft discarded as debris. But now, we've entered the age of reusable rockets, a revolution led by SpaceX's Falcon 9. These rockets can launch, return to Earth, and launch again, slashing costs and making space travel more accessible than ever before. This shift from one-off missions to sustainable systems is the key that's unlocking the door to larger, more ambitious projects. NASA Artemis program is the perfect example. Its goal isn't just to revisit the moon, but to stay there. With plans to build a lunar base camp and use resources directly from the moon's surface, humanity is on the verge of establishing a permanent presence on our nearest celestial neighbor. And Artemis isn't working solo, it's collaborating with international partners and private companies, pooling expertise and resources to accelerate our reach. This kind of cooperation is what transforms science fiction into reality. Think about it, in the last 50 years, we've gone from barely scraping the surface of the moon to preparing for missions that could make it our second home. Not just for astronauts, but potentially for regular people like you and me. The moon is evolving from a distant dream into a tangible destination. These advancements don't just expand our scientific horizons, they redefine what's possible in culture, entertainment, and even tourism. If we've figured out how to send rockets into space and bring them back, why not dream bigger? Why not imagine building something extraordinary like a theme park that combines cutting-edge technology with the thrill of exploring an alien landscape? The same drive that took us from the Apollo missions to Artemis is what could one day turn the moon into a place of adventure and wonder, not just for scientists but for anyone willing to step into the future. Every leap forward in space exploration, from reusable rockets to sustainable lunar bases, is laying the groundwork for projects that once seemed impossible. A moon-based theme park may sound like science fiction today, but so too did the idea of walking on the moon just a century ago. And now, we've proven that when humanity dreams boldly, the sky is far from the limit, it's just the beginning. Building a theme park on the moon might sound like a fantasy, but when you break it down, it's not unlike constructing an amusement park on the most remote, isolated island imaginable. Think about it, no roads, no local materials, no ready workforce. everything, every beam, every bolt, every ounce of fuel would have to be brought in or created on site in some way. Now take that challenge, multiply it by 1,000, and toss in a harsh environment that's actively hostile to human life. That's what we're working with on the Moon. The first major hurdle, lunar gravity. The Moon's gravity is only 1/6 of what we experience on Earth, which completely changes how structures are designed. Traditional engineering principles that we take for granted, like how a building bears weight or how roller coasters maintain their speed, don't work the same way in low gravity conditions. For example, rides designed to thrill on Earth might feel sluggish or slow on the Moon because the reduced gravity affects acceleration, momentum, and how forces like centripetal motion act on riders. On the flip side, this could open doors to unique experiences that can't even exist on Earth. Imagine a ride that launches you hundreds of feet into the air, allowing you to gracefully float down instead of plummeting. Lunar gravity doesn't just create problems, it creates opportunities for innovation. But rides and attractions are only part of the equation. The real challenge begins with creating infrastructure that can withstand the Moon's extreme environment. Unlike Earth, the Moon has no atmosphere to block harmful radiation from the Sun or to protect against micrometeorites, tiny but deadly pieces of space debris traveling at tens of thousands of miles per hour. Buildings and attractions would need to be shielded with materials that can absorb radiation and withstand impacts. Temperatures swing wildly too, ranging from scorching heat during the lunar day to bone-chilling cold at night. Standard construction materials would crack, warp, or fail under such conditions. One promising solution, modular habitats made with 3D printed materials. Recent advancements in 3D printing technology have shown that Moon Regolith, the dusty soil that covers the lunar surface, can be turned into a building material. Robots could be sent ahead of human crews to harvest and process this regolith, creating durable, insulated structures layer by layer. These structures could serve as protective shells for everything from guest accommodations to ride platforms. And because the resources are sourced directly from the Moon, this approach minimizes the need to transport heavy materials from Earth, drastically reducing costs. Speaking of reducing costs and manpower, autonomous robotic construction would be a game changer. Robots equipped with artificial intelligence could handle the repetitive, dangerous work of building in an environment where humans can't stay unprotected for long. These machines could operate continuously, using precision programming to assemble everything from the foundation of the park to intricate, interactive spaces designed for lunar visitors. In many ways, the Moon's harsh environment actually favors robotic labor. It eliminates the need for oxygen, food, or safety breaks, making it ideal for tireless, automated construction crews. By combining these innovations, gravity-specific ride designs, modular habitats, 3D printing with Moon soil, and autonomous construction, we could overcome many of the Moon's natural challenges. And here's the exciting part. Solving these issues wouldn't just make a lunar theme park feasible. It would also pave the way for other groundbreaking uses of the Moon, from research hubs to permanent colonies. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into the specific technologies that would bring this vision to life and explore how close we are to making them a reality. To bring a theme park to life on the Moon, we'd need to harness some of the most advanced technologies humanity has ever developed. After all, we're talking about creating an entire ecosystem in one of the most extreme environments imaginable. Every aspect of the park, from powering the rides to keeping visitors breathing, would depend on innovations designed to sustain life and operate efficiently in outer space. The good news, many of these technologies are already in development, laying the groundwork for turning this sci-fi vision into a tangible reality. Let's start with energy, because without it, none of this would even get off the ground. The Moon, while barren, has an abundance of sunlight, with certain areas near its poles bathed in nearly constant daylight. Scientists are already exploring the concept of lunar solar power stations. These would involve placing solar panels in these sunlit regions to collect and convert solar energy into electricity. The energy could then be stored in advanced batteries or transmitted wirelessly across the lunar surface using microwave beams. This renewable energy source would be critical for powering everything in the park, from life support systems and lighting to the rides themselves. In fact, having a reliable and sustainable energy system is one of the first steps toward making any large-scale lunar project feasible. Next, we'd need to consider the essentials for human survival: air and water. The Moon may not have an atmosphere, but it does have resources we can tap into. For instance, oxygen can be extracted directly from regolith, the dusty lunar soil. This soil contains compounds like silicon dioxide and metal oxides, and using a process called molten salt electrolysis, we can split these compounds to release oxygen. This technology is already being tested for future Moon missions and could provide breathable air for both the park's visitors and staff. Water, on the other hand, would likely come from ice deposits found in permanently shadowed craters near the Moon's poles. Recent discoveries by NASA have confirmed significant quantities of frozen water in these regions. By mining this ice, we could not only produce drinkable water, but also separate it into hydrogen and oxygen for fuel or additional oxygen supplies. More importantly, we'd need to recycle as much water as possible to conserve resources. Closed-loop water systems, which are already used on the International Space Station, could be adapted for the park. These systems purify wastewater, including sweat and urine, into clean, drinkable water, ensuring minimal loss over time. But managing all these systems, from energy generation to life support, requires precision and round-the-clock monitoring. That's where artificial intelligence comes in. AI could oversee nearly every operation in the park, analyzing data in real time to ensure that systems are functioning optimally. For example, it could monitor oxygen levels, regulate power usage, and even predict maintenance needs before equipment fails. In a low-gravity, high-risk environment like the Moon, where human intervention can be time-consuming and challenging, AI would be the silent but efficient manager, keeping everything running smoothly. And speaking of maintenance, robotics would play a massive role here too. Lunar dust, while useful for extracting oxygen, is also abrasive and highly problematic for machinery and infrastructure. Robots equipped with advanced sensors and tools could perform routine cleaning, repair damaged structures, and even assist in ride operations. Their ability to operate in hazardous environments without rest means they could work tirelessly to ensure the park remains safe and functional. Some of these concepts are already being tested on Earth, with robots designed to build and maintain habitats for future lunar missions. What's truly exciting is that most of these technologies are not just theoretical, they're actively being prototyped or planned for upcoming Moon missions. NASA Artemis program, for instance, is testing methods for extracting oxygen and water from lunar resources. Meanwhile, private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are exploring sustainable energy and autonomous systems for use beyond Earth. These developments aren't just paving the way for scientific exploration, they're building the foundation for bold, imaginative projects like a lunar theme park. In many ways, the technology needed for this park aligns perfectly with humanity's broader goals in space exploration. By tackling challenges like energy sustainability, life support, and automation, we're not just creating the tools for a once-in-a-lifetime attraction, we're developing the systems that could one day support entire lunar colonies. And that's the beauty of it. Every step forward toward this dream brings us closer to a future where the Moon isn't just a destination. It's a thriving new frontier. So, what kind of attractions could a space theme park on the Moon actually offer? The possibilities are as limitless as the cosmos itself, combining cutting-edge technology, the Moon's unique environment, and human creativity to deliver experiences that simply can't be replicated on Earth. Let's imagine stepping into this world for the first time. One of the most captivating draws of a lunar theme park would undoubtedly be the zero-gravity rides. Traditional roller coasters rely on Earth's gravity to create speed and sharp turns, but on the Moon, we'd be working with only 1/6 of that force. This means we could design rides that defy everything we know about physics on Earth. Picture a ride where guests are launched high into the air and instead of descending in freefall, they float gently back down, flipping and spinning in ways that feel more like flying than falling. Or how about a space jump attraction where visitors strap into a harness and leap hundreds of feet into the air, feeling as though they've become astronauts bounding in low gravity? These kinds of experiences wouldn't just be thrilling, they'd make you feel like a true explorer of an alien world. But why stop there? For those craving adventure, the theme park could offer lunar rover excursions across the Moon's rugged terrain. Visitors could climb aboard futuristic, all-terrain rovers and explore the surface firsthand, navigating craters, ancient lava plains, and meteorite impact sites. Imagine the excitement of cresting a hill to see Earth rise on the horizon, one of the most breathtaking sights in the solar system. To enhance the authenticity, the rovers could be equipped with augmented reality displays, overlaying historical and scientific information about the Moon's geology and its role in space exploration. For a more immersive experience, guests could step into the Lunar Dome, a massive, enclosed observation area that gives visitors a safe way to experience the Moon's harsh environment. Inside the dome, guests could suit up in lightweight, futuristic space gear and venture out onto a recreated lunar landscape. Through transparent walls or a specialized roof, they could look out at the real lunar horizon, complete with the dusty, gray terrain and a jet-black sky dotted with stars. The dome could even feature simulated meteor showers or projections of the Earth from space, offering a visceral sense of what it means to stand on another celestial body. Beyond the thrill rides and cosmic views, the park could also emphasize education, creating experiences that are as enlightening as they are entertaining. Imagine walking through a simulated moon base colony, seeing firsthand how astronauts live and work in such an extreme environment. Guests could learn how lunar habitats are built, how resources like water and oxygen are extracted, and even what it's like to grow food in a moon greenhouse. Hands-on activities could allow visitors to try tasks like operating robotic arms or piloting a lunar lander in a full-motion simulator. These experiences wouldn't just teach visitors about life on the Moon, they'd spark curiosity and inspire them to think about what's next for humanity in space. And for those who want a peek into the future, virtual reality could bridge the gap between imagination and reality. Picture stepping into a VR experience that transports you to a bustling lunar city decades into the future, complete with skyscrapers, thriving markets, and spaceports. Or perhaps a holographic theater could bring to life the stories of astronauts, from the Apollo missions all the way to modern-day Artemis crews, providing an emotional connection to the rich history of space exploration. But perhaps the greatest appeal of a moon theme park isn't just the rides or the views or the groundbreaking technology, it's the ability to inspire. Standing on the Moon, experiencing what was once only a dream, could ignite the imaginations of countless visitors, particularly kids and young adults. Could it be the spark that drives a future scientist to discover new propulsion methods or a budding engineer to design the next generation of spaceships? Could it plant the seed that leads to humanity's first permanent colony beyond Earth? The answer is almost certainly yes. A space theme park on the Moon wouldn't just be an attraction, it would be a celebration of human ingenuity and exploration. Combining thrill, beauty, and education in one unforgettable package, it could remind us all of what we're capable of when we dare to dream big. So, as we look forward to a future where this vision might become a reality, the real question is, what adventure would you take first? Picture this, a futuristic spaceport on Earth buzzing with excitement. Families line up with their suitcases not for a cross-country flight or a tropical getaway, but for the ultimate adventure, a trip to the Moon. Sleek spacecraft stand ready on the launch pads, their engines humming with potential. Kids peer out through the terminal windows, wide-eyed at the thought of stepping onto the lunar surface. It feels like a scene straight out of science fiction, but with the rapid advancements in space travel, it's not as far off as you might think. Yet behind this thrilling vision lies a mountain of logistical challenges that must be solved before such a trip is even remotely possible. The first and perhaps the most obvious challenge is transportation. Getting people and supplies into space and onto the Moon is an incredibly complex and expensive process. Right now, the cost of launching just 1 kilogram of cargo into orbit is tens of thousands of dollars. And that's just to Earth's orbit. It takes even more energy, fuel, and precision to land safely on the Moon. While private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are making strides to reduce these costs with reusable rocket technology, we're still a long way from making lunar travel accessible to the average person. Take SpaceX's Starship, for example. It's designed to carry massive amounts of cargo and passengers far beyond Earth, and its reusable nature drastically lowers costs compared to traditional rockets. Similarly, Blue Origin's New Glenn and upcoming Lunar endeavors aim to create a sustainable path for space travel. These innovations could be the key to turning moon visits from a billionaire's dream into a viable industry. But even with these advancements, the logistics of scaling up lunar flights to accommodate thousands of tourists annually would require an unprecedented level of coordination, investment, and safety. Safety itself is another critical piece of the puzzle. Space is inherently dangerous, with risks ranging from radiation to equipment failure. Ensuring the safety of passengers would demand rigorous systems, both technical and procedural. Pre-flight training might become a standard for lunar tourists, teaching them how to operate in low-gravity conditions and handle the unexpected. Spacecraft would require advanced shielding and redundancies to protect passengers from solar radiation and meteoroids, not to mention the challenge of safely landing and taking off from the Moon's surface. Then there's the question of supplies. Building and operating a theme park on the Moon would require a constant flow of materials: food, water, building equipment, spare parts, and more. Lunar bases could play a crucial role here, acting as resupply hubs to support both construction and day-to-day operations of the park. These bases would ideally be self-sustaining, using in-situ resource utilization to extract oxygen, water, and building materials from the Moon itself. In fact, mining lunar ice deposits and processing regolith for construction could significantly reduce the need for supply shipments from Earth, cutting costs and creating a more sustainable operation. This infrastructure wouldn't just be vital for the theme park, it could open the door to broader economic opportunities. A fully operational lunar base could serve as a hub for mining valuable resources like helium-3, which is rare on Earth but abundant on the Moon and has potential use in future energy technologies. These bases could also support scientific research, providing new insights into the origins of the solar system, or act as stepping stones for missions to Mars and beyond. In many ways, the logistics of supporting a lunar theme park would act as a proving ground for larger aspirations in space exploration and industry. So while the idea of families boarding spacecraft for a weekend on the Moon might seem like pure fantasy right now, Every technical and logistical challenge we overcome brings us one step closer. The infrastructure we build to support lunar tourism could become the backbone of a thriving off-world economy, making the moon not just a destination for thrill seekers, but a cornerstone of humanity's future in space. And as we take these first bold steps, the question we'll be asking isn't just how to get there, but how to stay. Let's talk about the economics of building a theme park on the moon. Because while the idea might spark excitement, the sheer scale and cost of such a project are enough to make even the most ambitious investors pause. We're not just talking about a few $1 million here. This would be one of the most expensive undertakings in human history. From research and development to construction, transportation, and ongoing maintenance, the numbers quickly soar into the tens, if not hundreds of billions. So how could such a monumental project be financially viable? To understand the costs, consider the challenges we've already outlined: transporting materials and people, building resilient infrastructure, and maintaining life support systems in an environment that's hostile to human life. It's not just a theme park, it's a self-sustaining lunar outpost that also happens to host roller coasters and rover rides. Even with advances like reusable rockets and in-situ resource utilization to cut down on material transport, the upfront investment would be staggering. And that's before factoring in ongoing operational costs like staffing, maintenance, and the consistent resupply of essentials. But as pricey as this sounds, we've seen examples of humanity tackling seemingly impossible feats when the vision is ambitious enough. Let's take a look at what could make this lunar venture financially sustainable or even profitable. First, ticket sales and guest experiences would be the most obvious revenue streams. A trip to a moon theme park wouldn't be your average weekend getaway. It would be an exclusive, once-in-a-lifetime adventure. Consider how much people already pay for unique experiences. Tens of thousands for luxury safaris, hundreds of thousands for private submersible trips to the Titanic, or even millions for orbital spaceflights with companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. The novelty of walking on the moon, bouncing through low-gravity rides, or gazing at Earth from the lunar surface would undoubtedly justify a premium price tag. Even with high costs, the exclusivity alone could create a demand strong enough to attract the world's wealthiest thrill seekers. Beyond ticket sales, there's the potential for exclusive add-ons, creating a tiered pricing structure similar to how theme parks operate today. VIP packages could include private rover expeditions across the moon's surface, stargazing tours with astronomers, or even the opportunity to participate in physical tasks that simulate astronaut training. Think about it. What would someone pay to plant their own small flag on the moon's surface, immortalizing their visit? These tailored, high-end experiences could significantly boost revenue per guest. Then there's the opportunity for sponsorships and partnerships. Corporations have long been eager to attach their names to groundbreaking ventures. Imagine tech companies sponsoring the park's VR attractions or aerospace manufacturers branding rides named after their innovations. The moon itself could become the ultimate advertising billboard. Partnerships with luxury brands could lead to exclusive Lunar Edition products, from custom spacesuits to commemorative moon rocks. These collaborations wouldn't just help fund the park, but could also make lunar tourism synonymous with prestige and cutting-edge technology. Commercial partnerships with space agencies or private companies would also play a crucial role. Organizations like NASA, the European Space Agency, and private firms such as SpaceX or Blue Origin could contribute through joint ventures, providing technical expertise, infrastructure, or even subsidies in exchange for shared access to the moon's resources. For example, research facilities and scientific experiments could be integrated into the park's infrastructure, allowing scientific and commercial goals to coexist. The Moon theme park wouldn't just be about entertainment, it could double as a hub for lunar research and industry, attracting investments from multiple sectors. Moreover, the commercialization of space exploration has already shown us how private investment can accelerate progress. Just look at the transformation brought about by companies like SpaceX, which drastically reduced the cost of launches, or Virgin Galactic, which opened the door to suborbital flights for paying tourists. These ventures started with hefty price tags but steadily gained traction as costs came down and interest grew. A Moon theme park would operate on a similar principle, a groundbreaking, expensive project at first, but one that becomes more efficient and accessible over time as technology improves and economies of scale kick in. And let's not forget the intangible but powerful benefit of being the first. The novelty of a Moon theme park wouldn't just attract visitors, it would dominate global headlines, capturing imaginations and turning the park into a cultural phenomenon. Think of how the first trips to space or the first photos of Earth from the Moon captivated the world. That same allure could translate into a brand so iconic that the park becomes a symbol of human innovation and ambition, driving interest and investment for decades. Ultimately, the question isn't whether a Moon theme park could generate revenue. It almost certainly could. The real challenge is whether its costs can be justified by its exclusivity and long-term potential. While it would begin as a privilege only for the wealthiest, advancements in space travel could eventually democratize access, turning what starts as a luxury destination into a sustainable, profitable enterprise. And as we'll see in the next section, the financial viability is just one piece of the puzzle, because projects like this aren't just about money. They're about reshaping how humanity views itself and its place in the universe. A lunar theme park wouldn't just be a marvel of engineering or a playground for thrill seekers. It could profoundly reshape how humanity views its place in the cosmos. For centuries, the Moon has inspired poets, artists, and dreamers, serving as a symbol of possibility and the unknown. By bringing people directly to its surface, a project like this could transform the Moon from something we admire at a distance into a tangible part of our shared human experience. But the cultural and societal ripples of such a venture would extend far beyond the excitement of individual visitors. Imagine the global sense of wonder that would arise from making the Moon accessible, even symbolically. A theme park on the Moon would shine a spotlight on space exploration, reigniting the same kind of awe and curiosity that fueled the world's obsession with the Apollo missions. It could inspire millions, especially younger generations, to see space as not just the domain of astronauts or scientists, but as a frontier they too can explore and shape. Imagine a child watching a live stream of the first guests arriving at the park, planting the seed of ambition that leads them to become a future engineer building interplanetary spacecraft or a scientist solving the challenges of space colonization. By weaving science and entertainment together, the park could transform space exploration from a niche interest into something mainstream, relatable, and deeply aspirational. A project of this scale would also serve as a powerful tool for promoting STEM education. Attractions could integrate lessons in physics, astronomy, and engineering into their designs, blending fun with learning. Visiting the Moon would no longer just be a dream. It would become a motivator for students to pursue careers in fields that make such dreams possible. Schools and universities around the world could partner with the park to develop educational programs, offering everything from live virtual tours of the Moon's surface to hands-on workshops about robotics, rocketry, and sustainable technologies. Through these initiatives, the park wouldn't just entertain, it would help cultivate the next generation of scientists, innovators, and explorers. Not only that, but a lunar theme park could become a bridge between science and art, celebrating human creativity alongside technological progress. The moon has always captivated artists, from Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night to countless songs and stories inspired by its glow. Bringing art into the park's design, be it through moonlit sculptures, immersive VR performances, or even Lunar-inspired music and fashion collaborations, could create a cultural movement that blends the sciences and humanities in new and exciting ways. It's easy to imagine creative minds from around the world contributing to the project, seeing the moon as both a canvas and a muse for humanity's collective imagination. But with great ambition comes great responsibility. The preservation of the moon's pristine environment would need to be a core principle guiding every step of this endeavor. Unlike Earth, the moon has no ecosystems to destroy, but that doesn't mean it's free of environmental concerns. Lunar dust, for example, is incredibly fine and can cling to surfaces, potentially damaging equipment or even contaminating areas meant for research. The park would need to operate with strict guidelines to minimize its ecological footprint, ensuring that human activity doesn't leave permanent scars on the lunar surface. This careful balance between development and preservation would set a precedent for how humanity approaches future space-based projects, teaching us to grow responsibly as we expand beyond our home planet. The ethical considerations extend beyond the environment. Building a moon theme park would require unprecedented cooperation among nations, companies, and individuals. It's a project so vast in scale and significance that no single country or entity could or should claim ownership. Instead, it could serve as a beacon of international collaboration, uniting humanity in a shared vision of progress. By pooling resources, knowledge, and talents from all corners of the globe, we could ensure that the park represents the best of what humanity can achieve when it strives together. This kind of collaboration wouldn't just advance science and exploration. It could foster a greater sense of unity among nations, reminding us that when we look up at the moon, we all see the same sky. Ultimately, the greatest impact of a lunar theme park might not be its cutting-edge technology or jaw-dropping attractions. It could be the way it redefines what it means to dream big as a species. It challenges us to think beyond our earthly boundaries, to embrace the power of imagination and ingenuity, and to see ourselves not just as citizens of individual nations, but as members of humanity with a shared destiny in the stars. So, if we can come together to build something as ambitious as a theme park on the moon, what else might we dare to accomplish? What new frontiers could we explore next? The moon could be just the beginning, a first step toward a future where our dreams truly have no limits. While the idea of a moon theme park is thrilling in its own right, its implications stretch far beyond just entertainment. A project of this scale would mark a pivotal moment in the history of space exploration, serving not only as a testament to human ingenuity, but as a launching point for future lunar colonization. Still, as exciting as this vision is, it's impossible to ignore the complex challenges and considerations that must be addressed to make such endeavors sustainable, equitable, and beneficial on a global scale. Let's explore what comes next for lunar development and why the hurdles we face today could shape the future of humanity on and beyond the moon. One of the first challenges is navigating the political and legal frameworks that govern space. Unlike Earth, where nations claim sovereignty over land, no country can lay ownership to the moon thanks to the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. This treaty, signed by over 100 nations, enshrines space as the province of all mankind, prohibiting any one entity from claiming celestial bodies as their own. But as private companies and nations ramp up their lunar ambitions, the treaty is being tested in ways its creators could have never imagined. Who decides how lunar resources like water ice are mined and distributed, or how the moon's surface is used for research, commercial ventures, or tourism? Without updated international agreements, there's a risk of competition turning into conflict, with nations and corporations vying for dominance in a new kind of space race. This leads to another pressing issue: balancing collaboration and competition. While international cooperation has achieved incredible things like the International Space Station, there's growing tension as countries and private companies carve out their own pathways to the moon. Projects like NASA Artemis program involve international partnerships, but other players like China and Russia are pursuing their own lunar goals, sometimes independently. Meanwhile, private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin are introducing a commercial element that further complicates the dynamic. For a moon theme park to succeed, it would likely require unprecedented levels of cooperation, not just between nations but across public and private sectors. Establishing a unified vision for lunar development while respecting the diverse interests involved will be critical to ensuring that progress benefits all of humanity rather than a select few. Another key challenge is sustainability, not just environmental sustainability, but economic and operational sustainability as well. Building a theme park is one thing, but maintaining it over decades or even centuries is an entirely different story. The moon's extreme conditions, from temperature swings to radiation exposure, mean that infrastructure must be incredibly durable and adaptable. The project would push us to develop scalable technologies such as 3D printed construction using Lunar Regolith or closed-loop life support systems that could form the backbone of a broader lunar economy. These innovations wouldn't just benefit the park, they could support future colonies, scientific outposts, and industrial hubs on the moon, fundamentally changing how humans live and work in space. The ripple effects wouldn't stop at the moon. Many of the technologies developed for lunar projects could revolutionize industries here on Earth. For example, advancements in solar power generation, energy storage, and resource recycling could accelerate our transition to more sustainable practices at home. The robotics used to construct and maintain lunar infrastructure could find applications in disaster recovery, deep-sea exploration, or even automated construction in remote regions. By solving the unique challenges of building on the moon, we'd inevitably unlock new tools and systems that improve life for everyone on Earth. In the bigger picture, the moon could become a testing ground for humanity's next great frontier, Mars and beyond. Mastering the logistics, technologies, and governance of lunar development would prepare us for establishing settlements on other planets. The moon's proximity makes it an ideal proving ground, allowing us to experiment with life support systems, in situ resource utilization, and long-term sustainability in a relatively close-to-home environment. The lessons learned from a lunar theme park could one day inform how we build interplanetary colonies, creating the foundation for a future where humanity isn't limited to one planet. So, are these challenges worth overcoming? That's a question that forces us to think about what kind of future we want to build. Yes, the hurdles are immense. Political complexities, technological barriers, and cost considerations all loom large. But the potential rewards are just as vast. Projects like a lunar theme park push us to innovate, collaborate, and dream bigger than ever before. They remind us that the greatest achievements often come from tackling the impossible, and that the process of reaching for the stars can enrich life on Earth in unexpected ways. In the end, the journey to create something as ambitious as a moon theme park isn't just about building attractions, it's about expanding the boundaries of what we believe is possible. It's about proving that humanity can not only survive in extreme environments but thrive and create something extraordinary. Perhaps the real value of such projects lies not just in what they achieve but in what they inspire. And as we stand on the cusp of this bold new era, the question is no longer if we can rise to the challenge, it's whether we'll choose to. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to reflect on the incredible concept we've explored: building a space theme park on the Moon. It's an idea that pushes the limits of what we think is possible, blending advanced engineering, futuristic technologies, and bold imagination into a vision that feels as audacious as it is inspiring. Along the way, we've covered the immense challenges humanity would face, from designing low-gravity attractions and constructing sustainable infrastructure to navigating the financial, political, and environmental complexities of working on the Moon. Yet, for every obstacle, we've seen a glimpse of the solutions and innovations that could make it happen. Think about the engineering leaps required to adapt our tried and true methods of construction and design to an alien world. Low-gravity rides that defy earthly physics, habitats 3D printed from moon dust, and autonomous robots working tirelessly to build and maintain structures. These aren't just whims of science fiction. They're technologies already taking shape today, driven by the same spirit of exploration that first got us to the Moon over 50 years ago. A theme park on the Moon wouldn't just be a marvel of entertainment. It would be a symbol of human resilience and creativity in the face of the unknown. Then there's the cultural impact, how a project like this could inspire humanity on a global scale. Imagine the connections it would create, not just for the lucky visitors who set foot on the Moon, but for the billions watching from Earth, united by a shared sense of wonder. It's a reminder of the power of audacious dreams to bring people together. A lunar theme park could stand as a beacon of possibility, showing us that the Moon is no longer a distant celestial body, but a stepping stone to a future where humans live, work, and thrive beyond our planet. Of course, none of this would come without its fair share of financial and logistical hurdles. Projects of this magnitude demand immense resources, careful planning, and global cooperation. Yet each step forward, whether it's developing more cost-effective space travel or creating technologies to harvest and use lunar resources, brings us closer not just to building a theme park, but to opening the Moon as a hub for exploration and innovation. The challenges aren't just roadblocks, they're opportunities to deepen our capabilities and prepare for an even grander goal, becoming a multi-planetary species. Ultimately, though, the heart of this idea lies in humanity's ability to merge imagination with action. The Moon Theme Park is more than an ambitious thought experiment. It's a testament to how curiosity and creativity can push the boundaries of reality. If we can dream it, if we can bring together the brightest minds and boldest ideas, then why not build it? After all, the greatest achievements in human history, from electricity and flight to landing on the Moon itself, once seemed impossible. So, what do you think? Could we build a space theme park on the Moon? What would you add to the vision we've explored today? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation isn't just about what's technically possible. It's about dreaming big, collaborating, and imagining the future we want to create. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, so you can join us as we continue to explore the fascinating frontiers of space exploration. Together, we might just find that the only limits are the ones we place on ourselves.